G'day, Heath here from pickandlessons.com. Amazing Grace. This is a beautiful melody. In this mandolin lesson, we're going to take a look at two versions essentially. We've got first up this nice chord melody arrangement where we're supporting the melody with double stops and open strings and chords. The second variation is basically just the simple melody, but we're playing it with a tremolo style. In a moment, we're going to break down the first half of the chord melody version of the arrangement here in this video, but if you head over to pickandlessons.com, you can grab yourself a copy of the tablature for the complete arrangement. In the member section there, we will break down the remainder of the lesson for the chord melody and also have a look at the tremolo there as well. Once you do get to know it, in the member section there, there's also some play along and backing tracks as well. Now, we're in the key of D for this arrangement. The chord melody version is basically using the open position and open strings and whatnot. The tremolo version is movable, so when you get to know that version, you can change that to any key that you may need to play it in, so that'll be handy. But this chord melody version, because of the open strings and the positions we're playing, it is in the key of D and it's kind of going to be there essentially. Okay, so the time signature, we're in 3/4 time, it's a waltz. So 3 counts to the measure, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And as we enter the first measure, we have this pickup note on count 3. So 1, 2, 3, the open A string. And that's going to lead us into this first measure. And straight up, you can see this chord melody. We're supporting our melody note with some other things from the harmony backing it. So the D chord in this case. Yeah, some arpeggios in there, some chords that we're actually playing as well. So that first measure, third finger there, fingering is going to be important for some of this. So it's in the tablature, but check it out. The right hand's pretty straightforward, but it's in there as well. So this double stop kicks us off the open D and D, so a unison there. But then we have that double stop, that common D double stop, so the D and the F sharp. And the F sharp's our second melody note. Simple melody would be 1, 2, 3. So unison D on the first beat. Then the arpeggio to get us into the F sharp, the melody note. So in context, that pickup note is on beat 3, then through the first measure, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah? Building on that, the second measure continues to hold that double stop. And the melody there on the end is that open E. 1, 2, and 3. So this rhythmic theme repeats through as we go. You'll see this happens through a lot of these measures. We'll come back in a moment and touch base with these, but the third measure along, our third finger staying there on the D, that's our melody. This time the chord changes to the G chord, and so we're going to use our open G and D strings to support the melody. And then the arpeggio moves then into that melody note on the B. So the third measure along is 1, 2, and 3. The fourth measure along, switch that first finger down to the A there, and we get this partial D chord where we're playing the A, D, and A. The A on top is the melody, so that's a point worthy of thinking about. The melody is always going to be that highest note, generally speaking. So we've got this melody note there, so we want to make sure that's heard, nice and clear. Yeah, then a little arpeggio through to the next melody note. Let's just go through these first 4 bars really slow. I mean, this is going to be a slow tune anyway. You wouldn't really want to play this one fast, yeah? It's going to be pretty chilled and relaxed. Let's just go through from that pickup note through these first 4 measures. 2, 3, 1. Now, fingering as we go through to the next measure, our little finger there is a good idea on the D. You could use your third, but I'm going to use my little finger, and that's going to let me get into this next chord. In measure 5 there, we've got a D. So we've got this D position of the chord, then an arpeggio. So 1, 2, and 3. Now at this point here, we hit the B minor. So what we're going to do is out of the D chord, leave the little finger. Our first finger is going to move to that second fret. Now you could use either your third or your second fingers here on the B on string 4. I'm going to go with my second finger, and that is the B minor position there. So out of D, we have that B minor. As we hold that, we get an arpeggio through. Open E on the end is the melody we're after there. Just because of the fingering, let's just try these two bars. So measures 5 and 6, so ready and D position, B minor position, arpeggio, E on the end. So some of these chords perhaps are going to be a little bit more challenging. So that B minor isn't the easiest of shapes to hold, bit of strength there, but the D into the B minor. And out of that, in the 7th measure along, we have the A. So our fingering kind of aligns for these 3 chords pretty well once we get kind of familiar with it. There's our A position and our melody is on top there. A is supporting 4-note chord. Just from measure 5 through to that A in measure 7, ready and D, B minor and A. So they're the chords and the fingering you really need to keep an eye on there through this little part. Once we've played that A, that's only on the first beat of that 7th measure. Then we're moving on and we're going to bring a little tremolo into this part of the arrangement. So we're moving up the neck, we're playing the open A as a bit of a passing, droning note. And as we hit this part of the scale that we're playing out of here, we are going to play the tremolo on that 7th fret, 9th, 7th, then the 9th. So open A to the fretted A at fret 5, now fret 7, fret 9, back to fret 7, changing to the 2nd string, fret 9 for that F sharp. The tremolo technique, we're going to touch more on this in the next part of the lesson when we hit that part of the arrangement. But basically, just think of it as a real flurry of notes. Depending on tempo can really determine how many down and ups you essentially play per note. Obviously this is quite slow, so the main thing is that you're going to get the melody moving in the right place. So on, in this case, on the beat for each of those notes, so that'd be beat 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the notes are moving rhythmically where they need to. Then around that, our right hand, that tremolo is just basically playing that flurry, quick flurry of notes. And we are playing in time, but you know, there could be fewer of them, there could be more of them. You kind of got to feel it out a little bit. It's not one size fits all for this technique, but do just think about initially that if you hold your pick a little bit tighter, it can help. And that'll really get you going, but just really just do touch lightly on the string. So the heavier you dig in, the harder it's going to be. You're going to find your pick's going to catch. So really just sort of brushing across the top of the string, very lightly almost. You can add more volume, but you don't want to get more depth with the pick. Just one more time, we'll play these 7th and 8th measures. We will work through this technique a little more in the next lesson. So out of that A, then the passing note, now tremolo. All right, let's go through these 8 bars we've just had a look at here. So from the beginning with that pickup note on beat 3, 1, 2, 3. The D chord, the B minor, and the A, tremolo. And we'll move on in the next lesson to the second half. So there we have this first little bit of the chord melody version of Amazing Grace here in the mandolin, key of D. Pickinlessons.com. We will continue this lesson in the member section there. We'll break down the remainder of this chord melody version and we'll look at the tremolo a little further in depth and learn the melody for that as well. You do have playing along and backing tracks there once you get to know it, but you can just grab the tablature too. So pickinlessons.com. I'll see you there.